guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. So today we're super excited to be taking a look at this. It's the brand new Series 2 electronic Dilophosaurus, and this comes complete with a bit of venomous spit that can actually be fired from its mouth. Quite a cool little gimmick. By bringing in the recently reviewed Indominus Rex Basher and Biter, link to that review is down below. You can see that the Basher and Biter figures are much smaller in packaging and in figure size than these new Series 2 electronic figures. Okay, so let's kick off by taking a closer look at the packaging. So starting up in the top left hand corner, you can see we've got the Jurassic World logo there in blue and chrome. We've got this red and blue scaling going across the top. You can see there we've got the Dilophosaurus roaring, and you can see the spit in its blister bubble there. You can see that there's a little cardboard piece holding the tail up, and just behind there is the T-Rex roaring proudly. Down here we've got a little indication of the action feature. You waggle the tail to activate that feature. It says here 2 alkaline batteries included, so that's great, you can get playing right away. We've got the Hasbro logo. Here it says Growling action when you press the button, and for some reason his wound glows. Maybe he's radioactive, who knows. And then along here it says Dilophosaurus for ages 4 and plus. That's me. On the back we've got this gorgeous box art of the Dilophosaur glowing radioactive blue. Over here it says launching venom projectile, pretty cool. And over here we've got a little glowing wound and it says image enhanced to show color effect. Thanks for that, Hasbro. And just in case you thought this box art was real, this is a fantasy scene. Don't worry, kids. Okay, without further ado, let's get this cracking dinosaur out of the packaging. So here is the Dilophosaur out of the packaging, and I have to say, although this is an impressive looking toy in the box, once you get it out, you notice a few flaws with it, and we'll get into more of those in this video. In hand, this Dilophosaurus feels sizable and weighty. It's much bigger than the Dilophosaurs that we've got in the past from Jurassic Park toys. Unfortunately, we do have the visible screw holes. In this case, it's only 3, and we do also have the visible sound module. I'm willing to forgive that, but the screw holes really, Hasbro, I think you could do without those. The other thing I noticed right away is these hinges on either side of the head. Now I suppose this is supposed to make the frills sort of wobble a little bit when you activate the gimmick, but they don't work that well, and I thought maybe they were going to be spring loaded, but they're not. They just hang loosely, and I think this compromise of the sculpt is a little bit of a shame. In a lot of poses I've got the broken umbrella Dilophosaur where his frills fall forward due to gravity. Anyway, what we're all here to see is the gimmicks on this guy. First of all, we have the dino damage wound on the side, which activates a sound effect. So let's press that. And you can see it activates the light up feature, which is a little bit weird because why would its wound glow? But still, it's lovely to have that film accurate hoot. Now this other gimmick is a little bit surprising, and you'll see why. So first of all, I'm going to pull down on the tail. What was that bit at the end? Ready? Here we go again. Now, was that the sound effect playing in reverse really quickly? I have no idea what that sound is supposed to be at the end. It sounds almost like someone's rewinding a tape really quickly. You could say that that sound effect is that memorable sound of Nedry slipping over on his banana. Now inside the box we do get this cartoonish plastic spray, which is supposed to be the venomous slime that the Dilophosaurus spits. And this secures firmly in the mouth. If I just slot it in and you'll hear a click. Now as display options go, I actually think this looks pretty cool with it just lodged in his mouth. So I actually think that's quite a nice feature. So when I press down on the tail, it fires the venom. Starting off with the head sculpt, apart from those unsightly hinges, we do have a good likeness for the Dilophosaur. It does have the same feeling as the Spinosaur, where a lot of the detail feels like it's been lost, and maybe that's because it's a recast of the original Dilophosaur from Jurassic Park. You can see we've got really nice paint apps on the eye here, but on the opposite side, which isn't seen in the box, we've got no paint whatsoever, so that's a real big letdown. The teeth are fairly nicely sculpted. The paint is a little bit globular, and you can see they've painted and sculpted the interior of the mouth fairly well. As we move down the neck, you can see we've got those unsightly hinges here, and it's very clear cut, the paint job, and actually it's a very simplified paint job. I'm not sure I'm fond of that, but I do like the sculpt on this. It's quite detailed with all these striations going on, and on the back we've got nice veining and detail. It does feel a little bit softened off. Same with the neck here, there's some really nice sculpted creases. They just feel a little softer compared to the rest of the body. If you compare that arm to that neck, you can see what I mean. Really nice scale detail on this arm here, and really nice sculpt, nicely painted finger claws there. there. You can see on the body again, really nice fine scaling going along here. Some really nice flesh detail going on in that wound there. And I love the paint job of this green and brown. Would have been nice to have had the original Dilophosaur colours, but I suppose they have to rebrand the toys every time they release them. You can see the Jurassic World logo there. Really nice clear musculature on this upper leg, and I really love the creasy knee that we're getting as well. Lovely detail on this leg. As we move down, you can see some nice tendons there in the ankle. You can see the painted dew claw and the nicely painted toe claws. As we move into the tail, again, you can see really nice fine scaling. It's quite a thick tail, which is really good in contrast to the small basher and biter Tyrannosaurus Rex, which had a very thin tail. Lovely sculpted detail all the way along this, and a really nice naturalistic curve in the tail as well. Really good job by Hasbro. There is a little flattened off area here with some literature on it, and it's a shame because that really does catch the light, if you can see there. It's a shame that that's sort of flattened off. But then you've got really nice sculpt in this other leg, clear musculature again, really nice sculpted creasy knees, nicely sculpted toes and toe claws, really, really cool. We do have the sound box there with visible holes, but that's not too bad. What does bother me are these visible screw holes. That really does show that this thing is manufactured. Again, really nicely sculpted arm, really fine scaling going on. Look at all that detail, beautiful. And as we move back up the neck, which is less detailed but still got some nice striations in it, we move back up to that softened off head sculpt. Looking at this thing from underneath, you get a sense of how fat he is actually, and you can see there's another visible screw hole here for the battery box, but I think we can let them off that because it's in somewhere you're not really going to see all the time. But this is actually quite a fat dinosaur. You can see how wide the hips are on this Dilophosaur, and if I remember, the Dilophosaur from the original Jurassic Park line was quite slim and felt a bit more naturalistic. Another thing to note is the feet on mine actually came out of the box quite bent. You can actually see they've been squeezed together by the packaging, and for me this could have caused some standing issues, but it didn't. So let me know if you've had any standing issues with your Dilophosaur. Okay, so just how big is this guy? Let's whip out the tape measure. You're looking at about 10 inches long, which is about 26 centimeters. And in terms of the height up to the top of the tail, you're looking at about 6 inches, which is about 16 centimeters. As for the size of this venom piece, you're looking at about 3 inches long, which is just about 8 centimeters. And in terms of its thickness, it's about half a centimeter, which is about 1/4 inch thick. Size comparison time, let's bring in the basher and biter Indominus Rex. We recently reviewed this one on the channel, link is down below if you want to see the review for that one. But you can see here that he scales up quite nicely next to the spitter as a raptor-sized Indominus Rex. Next, let's bring in the Series 2 Allosaurus, one of my favorite dinosaur toys that Hasbro has done to date, and you can see that actually the Allosaurus looks really small next to this new Series 2 Dilophosaurus. Next, here's the mustard yellow Series 2 Pachycephalosaurus. Again, I'm fond of the sculpt of this one, and the Allosaurus and this one have both been reviewed on the channel. Links to those are down below. You can see these two scale up fairly nicely next to each other. And lastly, let's bring in the vintage off-color Allen from 1993. You can see that he looks quite small next to this Dilophosaur, so maybe you could use this as a more adult Dilophosaur. There we have it, guys. That was today's look at the Series 2 electronic Dilophosaur. I think this is a pretty good figure. It's got a lot of gimmicks going on. You've got the roaring head down gimmick, you've got the hooting press button gimmick, and it lights up as well. So as far as gimmicks go, this is a cool figure. But what I'm not keen on is the stuff like the hinge here on the frill. If I had to choose, I would go for the Series 1 electronic Dilophosaurus from the original Jurassic Park line, simply because you could put the frill on and remove it, so you could have it in both modes, and it looked much more organic than these frill hinges that we've got here. Also the weird sound effect thing, I still don't understand what that is. And also I think the sculpt could be improved in a few areas. So I wouldn't say this is a must-have, but it's still a pretty decent figure. Let me know, guys, have you picked this one up already? What are your thoughts on this figure? I'd be really interested to hear. In the meantime, guys, rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.